Hi, let's talk invoicing. Okay. So first things first, if you don't have QuickBooks payment set up, you should set it up. My referral link gives you a lower rate for some reason, which I literally just learned. It's in this link below in this YouTube video, or it's probably my Instagram bio, or it's in the newsletter. So anyway, QuickBooks, you should get set up with payments first. Also, they're going to ask you for your social. It's kind of like you're applying for a credit card. So just be aware of that, but it's going to be worth it. Okay, QuickBooks. QuickBooks might look a little different than this, but it's going to function still the same. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to this gear icon over here, and then you're going to go to custom form styles. I think a lot of people don't even know this is here. I think it's kind of a dumb spot, but that's where it is. So click there, and then you can create a new invoice or an estimate or a sales receipt. So I'm going to make an invoice. All right, here we go. Okay, so first, you can obviously change up the whole vibe of the invoice. Also, the other thing is you can make invoices template specific to what you do. Say this is like, say you're a photographer and you have like a deposit invoice, or maybe a final payment invoice, or things like that, like anything that just makes it easy. So let's call this like deposit invoice. I like to generally put the date so that you know when it was made. So whatever fits your vibe, and then you can like edit your logo, add your logo. You can even add your hex color in here, which is kind of cool. Fonts, you don't have a lot of fonts to choose from, but that's something. And then content. So this is great if you want to add your phone number, not add your phone number, add your email address, like all these sort of like things that you may or may not want, you'll put in there. Email. This is also really great. So you say it's that you can make this so it's just for that email. So, like, hey, so glad that you're booking with us, blah, 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 blah. And you don't have to write that every time. I mean, you can add in it. It's still editable, but it just kind of sets you up for less text. And you also can say like, so this is a summarized detail. So it's just literally payment here. And then here would be full detail. So it would say like exactly what the description of the line items are. All right, so we're going to do full detail, sure. And then we're going to say done, and then it'll save it. So now when you go to make an invoice, you'll go to sales, you'll go to invoices, and we'll create a new invoice. All right, it's going to look a little overwhelming at first, but I promise it's okay. So you're going to do your customer. So I have a fake customer here called ABC Design. And then you can put any of this that makes sense to you here if you have a ship date or don't have a ship date, that sort of thing. And then we're going to go over here to design. And then you're going to find that template. So like I made that template right there. And then so now that is a template we're using, which is great. And then you can just add anything you want here. So like I'm going to say this is graphic design. And then I'm going to say that this is $1,000 and there's no sales tax because it's a service. Also, for instance, if I could have done this in my email template, but see where it says SKU, and like obviously we don't have a SKU or a graphic designer. So you would just take that out, or description you could put if you wanted that, or if you don't want to do a quantity, you could take that out. You can manage all of this. Well, I'm not going to do, but you can really get detailed with it. And then you can just keep adding line items. So the other cool thing about QuickBooks is you can control how the customer pays. So here it says customer payment options. If you don't want to take credit cards, you can turn this off. You can turn off PayPal and turn off, and I guess you could take tips, and you could just have a bank transfer. So this is just an ACH 1%, and it maxes out at $20. So if you were sending invoices that are like thousands of dollars, you might want to consider this route, and maybe you charge, if they're like, hey, I'd like to use a credit card, you could turn it on and then you could charge them a fee. It's not like you're just, you have a choice, which is really nice. Sales tax automation that I was talking about is really great. So say we also had our dude sticker. We were sending a sticker and there is sales tax. It is $10. And then we are charging sales tax, and it's going to charge it off of the ship to, because that's how sales tax is calculated. We're shipping it to Wilmington, North Carolina. So then right here, it's automatically calculating it, and you can see the math here. So you don't have to know that this is New Hanover County. It does it for you, which is so nice. And generally I wouldn't really make a QuickBooks invoice very often for like items like this, but it does make sense, especially in art world. If it's like one piece of artwork, QuickBooks makes more sense than like a Shopify if you're not selling lots of items, or if it's more of like a photography, or if it's more of a like fewer items sort of thing. Yeah. And then you can do memo to customer. This memo is my favorite that I recently have really gotten into, is this memo on statement. So say this was a deposit, right? I will write on this like deposit like 1. And then that way I can see it. I'll show you how you can see this. And they can't see it, but I can see it. And I'll show you why that makes sense. So we'll save this. We didn't send it. I just saved it, but I'll show you where it looks like. So now it'll show up here in your invoices. So it'll be right there. It's due today. It's $1,010, right? If I go over to customers here and I go customers and I say ABC Design, get this out of the way. See where it says memo deposit 1? I know what that invoice is. So it's not like I have to say like, what is this invoice for? This is also great if you're like, this is like, especially if you have clients where you're sending lots of invoices and you're like, you're digging through like, what is that for? And so I found that to be like a really handy thing here. All right. So say we are sending this invoice, we are ready to send it. So you just go view, edit, and then review and send. And you have the option first, you can send it as text. I mean, I would not want to have an invoice through text message, but I'm also not the target audience for this. So if you are someone who like your client likes to pay through a text, this is the perfect way to do that. If you're an email gal like myself, you would put it here, and then you can also edit all of that here, and then you can just send the invoice. The other thing you could do that's really nice is that you can create a link, and I like how I said that, but I think I might have to go over here now. If you go right here, you can say share invoice link. So you do this and you can copy this link. I love doing this so that I have to send like a whole separate email. I'll send it with then two options. I'll send it with then like just a Gmail, like, hey, here's your invoice, here it is, and then you can copy and paste it. So it's just all one thing. Or if you send emails through Flowdesk and you want it to look beautiful, you can say pay here, and it's a pretty button like our emails, and then you would click that and it would take you into QuickBooks, but it just is a nicer, more controlled presentation. I love doing that as well. The great thing is that, so then you could just send it there or here. But the other thing that's great is if we go to sales and we go invoices, we can track. Right now, I know that this is what's due. And if we had 10 invoices, I'm not wondering how much money is coming in or who hasn't paid. I can see everything right there. And once they've paid through QuickBooks, it'll say right here, it'll say not deposited, but you'll see that like it's like work, like it's in process, because it'll take a few days for it to deposit, and it'll be over here. It also links to your bank account so that you, like in QuickBooks, like in your bank transactions, it'll say like this amount will match that invoice, which is really nice. Oh, and I didn't even talk about reoccurring invoices. There's 2 ways to do this, but I've always done it this way. So I'll just show you this way. You do the gear icon and you say reoccurring transactions, and then you'll say new. All right, this is kind of crazy. And then you're going to say sales receipt. This is for, say, like me, I'm a bookkeeper. You're going to pay the same amount every month. And so I don't want to send you an invoice every month. Also, I want to get this on auto payment. So you are automatically paying me and I don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about it. So you'll make a sales receipt like this. And this also, I feel like looks crazy, but they say that you are a retainer client for graphic design, and it was a ABC Design. And then, okay, so you can choose ABC Design, and then you'd put their email in there. And then you can decide the interval. So like say monthly, daily, on the 1st every month. And then we could do start date. We could just say, okay, great. Start date is May 1st, ends never. Or you could say end after, say this is you're splitting up a payment into 4 payments. It automatically makes payment, what's it called? It breaks up your payment into 4 payments for you, which is really nice. And so then down here, you are going to put like whatever you would put in the invoice. So say this was like graphic design, and then it was like, a retainer, and it was $400 a month and no tax. And then here, you're going to put your payment method. So this is going to be QuickBooks, bank, or credit card. So if I did a bank, this thing will pop up. I'll enter their bank info. So you would have to have authorization. So if you click this button here, you can't see the tab, but if you click this button, it takes you to a PDF that you can print out, or you can obviously download it and then upload it, and they fill it out, basically giving you permission to auto draft money from their bank account. And so it's really important that you have that on file. But what you're going to do is you're going to take that, and then it'll give you their bank account information. And then you're going to enter their bank account information, and then it'll deposit into your bank. And then whatever, let's see, $400 looks great. And then we will save this template. It's going to tell me I need an email. It didn't. See, there it is. So then you can see this amount. So this is nice too. When you get a whole bunch of them, you can see like the amounts, the next date, the previous date, and see like how it's all running, and you can edit it, and it's really great. Yeah, so you can see this is like a lot more expansive than you would think it would be, and you can do a lot more with it than I think people think. So thanks for watching my QuickBooks invoicing video.